here's how to use the SDE8674 dual encoder to stream out your productions via IP. Firstly, you'll need to open YouTube. So you'll need to go to YouTube, you'll need to log into YouTube, you'll need to go to My Channel, then Video Manager, then on the left hand side in the Creator Studio pane, you'll see the live streaming tab. Click on that and we can either choose to stream now or events. We're going to stream now. There you'll see it comes up with basic information about the stream. Once you've set up your YouTube live stream, go to your dashboard software control. On the left hand pane is where you can access all of the OpenGear cards. You'll need to choose the SDE8674, this is the encoder. This will bring up our control panel where it will give us the information on the card's current state. Select through the information panes on the left side tabs to see card settings. You'll note we have dual encoders, so we can send two independent feeds via various IP protocols. Both encoders function the same way and have identical settings interfaces. Pay attention to the status alarms on the encoder settings panel as it will show you where you need to adjust parameters. On the right hand side tabs are where you change encoder settings. We are using encoder 2 as an example. In the encoder state pane, this is where you turn the encoder on and off. The card has two SDI inputs, meaning with the router we could, for example, send a clean feed to the SDI input 1 and mixed program feed to SDI input 2, giving us a versatility for independent streams. Select manual on the video input settings radial dial. Ensure that your input resolution is set to 1920 by 1080 interlaced and your frame rate is set to 50 frames per second. In the output resolution tab, this is where you can output at full res or downscale to your destination's requirements. As we are streaming to YouTube, their ingest server requires that you downscale to 720 progressive at 25 frames per second. Video rate mode, constant bitrate. Video bitrate, 2 million bits. In the audio section, your sample rate is passed through from the multiplexer. This is at 48 kHz. In the audio source pane, choose the SDI input. In the AES group pane, choose group 1. In the channels pane, choose channels 1 and 2. In the audio encoding, ensure that this is AAC LC. For your mode, choose stereo. Your audio bitrate should be 128 kbps. Your peak audio bitrate should be 128 kbps. Whenever you change settings, ensure that you hit apply at the bottom of the screen. Once your encoder is running, click on the output pane at the bottom of the screen. Based on which streaming destination you're using, choose a protocol accordingly. YouTube uses RTMP. You will need to populate the server information boxes with the information that you acquired from YouTube down in the encoder setup tab. You may use either of the Ethernet ports, however two streams will not output from one port. So I usually advise encoder 1 equals port 1 and encoder 2 equals port 2. This keeps things neat. Your app name is at the end of the server address. YouTube provides you with a stream key which goes into the primary stream tab. We don't have a backup streaming server, so no information needs to be provided here. Some services do provide a backup server. The default port is 1935, but I like to specify it anyway. YouTube doesn't require authentication, so here select no. Some services do require authentication. That's where you will need to select yes and then put in your username and password. When you have all your settings ready, click connect, yes, and then the apply tab at the bottom of the screen. Provided your YouTube live stream is enabled, the encoder will connect automatically. Some tech tips here. Should this continually fail, check your server address is correct, check your stream key is correct, check your encoder is running, connected, and no alarms are active. Reboot the card if necessary. But try the other steps first.